Hello everyone and welcome to PA Academy. So in the previous video we've looked at how to solve a linear equation using the Gauss-Seidel method, and in this video we're going to be looking at how to also solve it using the Cholesky method. Alright, and in this first video we're going to be using the similar example that we used in solving it using the Gauss-Seidel, just to show you the possibility of solving some of these questions using all of this method. Now it's important to note that some questions might ask you specifically to use a particular method. Okay, so that's why you don't have to limit yourself to understanding just one method of solving linear equations like this. Okay, so before we get started, if you are new to the channel PA Academy, or you are yet to subscribe, kindly go ahead right now, click on that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. All right, and also give the video a thumbs up. And if you missed the previous video on how we solve this question using the Gauss-Seidel, which is, you can see right here. All right, so if you missed this video, just go ahead and then check the playlist. You're going to find the video right here. So you can see it's the same example. So you can see this is the same example we are going to be using in this video, but we solve this using the Gauss-Seidel method. All right, so now let's go ahead and also solve the same thing using the Cholesky method. All right, so let's get started. So to start with, we are going to rewrite this in matrix form. All right, so in doing that, we are going to be having, so don't forget your matrix brackets. This is going to be minus 3. We have this to be 11, 7, and then the second row we have it minus 1, 5, minus 3, then we have this to be 3, 3 minus 3, okay? And then we have it x, y, z equals to 2, 1, and minus 1. So if you're wondering where I'm getting this 2, 1, and minus 1, this is it right here, okay? So if you should expand this, it will be getting this, okay? So don't let that confuse you. All right, so the next thing is we want to decompose this right here. All right, so in doing that, we are going to have it looking like this. So we are going to be having minus 3. So let me just make a note here that, so decomposing, that's what we have here. This minus 3, minus 1, 3, 11, 5, 3, and then 7, minus 3, minus 3 into LU. All right, so that will now be looking like this. So we are going to be having something that looks like this. So here is minus 3, minus 1, 3, here 11, 5, 3, 7, minus 3, minus 3. All right, then it will now be equals to minus 3, minus 1, and then 3, which is what we have in this first column right here. All right, then we are going to be having here to be P, Q, and R, and then the other part will be 0, more like a upper triangular matrix something. Okay, and then you close this. Then another matrix just by the side of it. So this is going to be 1, 1, 1, and then this is going to be 0, 0, 0, and here we are going to be having A, B, and then C. All right, so we've been able to decompose this into this. All right, so next is we want to go ahead and simplify it. Okay, so just pay attention to what we are having here. So your knowledge of matrix is very important right here with what we want to do. All right, so now we are going to be having minus 3 times 1, which is going to give us, let me change the color of my, so that you can get some of the marking I'm going to be doing. So we are going to be having this minus 3 multiplied by 1, okay, and that will give us minus 3 plus, so 0 multiplied by 0 will give us 0, okay. So I'm just mentioning all of this so that you don't get lost. Okay, so there is 0 multiplied by 0. So this is normal multiplication of 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, then plus 0. All right, so once you are done with that, you go to the first row, second column. So this is going to be minus 3 times A. Okay, so minus 3 times A will give us minus 3A, so that will be minus 3A. Then plus 0 times 1, so that will give us 0, so that will be plus 0, then plus, so let me bring that back. So here we had 0 here, okay. Then we're also going to be having this 0 multiplied by 0, which is also giving us 0, so plus 0. All right, so we are done with that. So we are going to be to the first row, third column, which is minus 3 times b, which will give us minus 3b, minus 3b. Then 0 times c will also give us 0, which is plus 0. And then 0 times 1 will also give us plus 0. So you can go ahead and close this. So we are going to repeat the same thing. All right, so now we are going to the second row, which is this right here, and then we are going to be using it to multiply each of these columns. Okay, so I'll just do it briefly and then I can just go ahead to just proceed. So if you should do this correctly, we are going to be having minus 1 times 1, so that will give us minus 1 plus, so we're going to be having minus 1 times 0, so that will give us 0, plus 0, then plus, sorry, not even minus 1, this is going to be p times 0 rather, although it will still give us 0, so you need to take note. Then next one is this 0 times this 0, okay, and then that will give us plus 0. So you need to be careful with some of this so that you don't mix them up. So let me just do this other one real quick. So we're going to be having minus 1 times a, okay, and that will give us minus a. Then we are going to be having p times 1, so that will give us plus p, and then 0 times 0 will give us 0. So if you, I hope you've already gotten the concept. So if you do everything correctly, so for this we are going to be having this to be minus b plus pc plus 0. All right, then this is going to give us 3 plus 0 plus 0, and then this will be 3a. So this is the 3a, that's 3 multiplied by a, that's this 3 multiplied by a will give us 3a. And then we are going to be having q multiplied by 1, so that will give us plus q. And then we are going to be having r multiplied by 0, which will also give us 0, so that will be plus 0. So for the last side, we are going to be having 3 multiplied by b, which will give us 3b. And then q multiplied by c will give us qc, so plus qc, then plus r. All right, so I hope you got this. Okay, so this is just a multiplication of matrix. All right, so if you should simplify that, so we are going to be having, all right, so let me rewrite this right here. So minus 3, then 11, 7, then we have this to be minus 1, 5, minus 3, then we have this to be 3, 3 minus 1, okay, equals to, so now we are going to simplify everything here, okay, so all the plus and everything, okay. So if you look at this first one, minus 3 plus 0 plus 0, it will give you minus 3, right? If you look here, minus 3a plus 0 plus 0, it will give you minus 3a, right? And then if you look here, minus 3b plus 0 plus 0, that will give us minus 3b. So for here is minus 1 plus 0, 0, so this will be minus 1, minus a plus p, this will be minus a plus p. So if you do the same for the other ones, you're going to be having this to be minus b plus pc, which is what we have here. And then here we're going to be having this to be 3 here. And then if you add this up, it will be 3a plus q. So that will be 3a plus q. And then here will be 3b plus qc plus r. Okay, all right. So now what I want to do here is, let me just change the color of my pencil. If you are finding value, please give the video a thumbs up. Is to compare. All right, so by comparing the above, so let me just say by comparing the above, okay, so if you look at it now, if you should compare it, you can see that minus 3a is equals to 11. If you look at the position, it's on the first row, second column, and the same thing here, okay. So let's take this as our equation 1. If you also do some comparison here, you see that this minus 3b is equals to 7. So minus 3b equals to 7. So let's take this to be our equation 2. Then we can also look at it that minus a plus p equals to 5. So we are going to be having minus a plus p equals to 5, which is our equation 3. Okay, then we are having this minus b plus pc equals to what? Minus 3. Okay, so minus 3. So this will be our equation 4. And then let's see, we have 3a plus q. So those ones that are having those alphabets is what we are comparing. We don't have business with this, this and this. Okay, so we have 3a plus q equals to 3. So this will be our equation 5. And then 3b plus qc plus r equals to, which is this right here. Sorry, this should be 3 minus 3 minus 3. And this is our equation 6. All right. So we are going to make use of these 6 equations to get the value of a, b, c, and pqr. Okay. So now in doing that, all these 6 equations we are going to use to get the values of those alphabets. All right. So if you look at it, that from equation 1, let me just write 1. Okay, that means our a is equals to minus 11 over 3. Okay, so from this here, if you divide both sides by minus 3, you are going to be getting minus 11 over 3. Okay, so which is pretty straightforward. Also, from equation 2, we can get our b to be minus 7 over 3. Okay, so that's from here. If you divide both sides by minus 3, our b will be minus 7 over 3. Then from our equation 3, okay, we already gotten our, so let's first of all look at it that from this we can write it as p is equals to 5 plus a, right? And remember, we already know what our a is. Our a is minus 11 over 3. Okay, so that will be equals to 5 minus 11 over 3. So if you should simplify this, you are going to be getting your p to be equals to 4 over 3. Okay, so we've gotten that. And then from our equation 4, okay, so don't forget, this is our equation 4 right here. Okay, we can make C the subject formula. All right, so in doing that, we are going to be, because we already have P, you can see we already have the value of P right here, we already have the value of B. So if we make C the subject formula from equation 4, so that means our C will be equals to minus 3 plus B over P. All right, so you can just go ahead and simplify it how best you can. The major thing is just to make sure you get your value for A, B, and C, and then P, Q, and R. Okay, so if you should simplify this now, we are going to be having minus 3. Our B is minus 7 over 3, so that will be minus 7 over 3, and then our P is 4 over 3 over 4 over 3. So if you do this now correctly, you have to get your C to be equals to minus 4. Okay, so now from equation 5, so let's see what our equation 5 is. This is it right here, 3a plus q minus 3. So the aim here is to get our q, because we already know what our a is. So if we make q subject formula, that means our q will be equals to 3 minus 3a. And then we can write that to be 3 minus, so that will be 3 times, our a is minus 11 over 3. 3 times minus 11 over 3. So guys, if you are finding value in this video, please give the video a thumbs up. All right, so with that, we are going to be having 3 plus 11. Okay, because this will cancel this, so we have minus 11 and then multiply by minus here, that will be plus. So that means our q is 14. Okay, so let's go to equation 6. So from our equation 6 now, what we want to get from our equation 6 is r, because we already know b, we already know q, we already know c. So if you make r the, if you just try to solve it, simply put in all this value for b, q, c, and make our subject formula. So that means we are going to be having 3 into brackets minus 7 over 3 minus 7 over 3 then plus 14 into brackets minus 4, then plus r equals to minus 3. All right, so that will give us, this can cancel this, so that will be minus 7. Then 14 plus multiplied by minus 4, so that will give us minus 56. Then plus r equals to minus 3. So that means our r will give us 60. Okay. So with this now, we've already gotten the value for A, B, C, and then PQR. All right, so next thing we want to do is, using this method, is to bring back our matrix, so which is minus 3, 1, 3, and then here we have it to be 11, 5, 3, and then here 7 minus 3 minus 3, okay, equals to, so we bring back, since we've gotten the value, remember this part of the matrix here, right, where we have this ABC and PQR. So we are going to be rewriting it and bringing in the value of PQR and then ABC. So in doing that, we are now going to be having minus 3, minus 1, and then 3. So this is going to be 0. And now we already know the value of our P, so we bring in the value of P, which is 4 over 3. And then this is Q, which is 14. So for this is 0, 0. And then we already have our R to be 60, so you bring in 60 right here. So the second matrix here we have 1, 0, 0, yeah. And then we already know our A to be minus 11 over 3. So here is going to be remain 1 and 0. So we already know our B to be minus 7 over 3, so that will be minus 7 over 3. And then here is going to be minus 4, which is our C, and this is going to be 1. All right. So guys, if you are finding value, please give the video a thumbs up. So now we're going to solve this. We are almost getting close to our answer. So the next is we're going to come back with our matrix. This is minus 3, minus 1, and then 3, 0, 4 over 3, and then 14. And then, so it is this right here I'm writing, this matrix here, okay? And then this is going to be 0, 0, 60. So you multiply them by, so we call it S subscript 1, S subscript 2, S subscript 3. Okay, then equals to, from our initial matrix, 2, 1, and minus 1. Okay, so if you're wondering where this 2, 1, and minus 1 is coming from, it's from the initial matrix itself. So you can see it's right here. Okay. All right. So if you should solve this now, we are going to be having, so let's just say from the above, that means minus 3 times minus 1, then plus 0 times S2, 0 times, so we don't need to include those 0 just to save our time. So we are going to be having minus 3S1 is equals to 2. So let's take this to be our equation 1. Then we can come here, minus 1 times this minus 1 right here times S1. So that will give us minus S1. Then 4 over 3, this 4 over 3 right here multiplied by S2. So we are going to be having plus 4 over 3 S2 equals to 1. So this is our pure equation 2. If you do the same thing for equation 3, where you multiply 3 times x1, so that will be 3x1 plus 14s2 plus 60s3 equals to minus 1. So this will be our equation 3. All right. So what we want to do now is we are going to use these three equations to get the value of our S1, S2, and S3. Okay. So if you look at it closely from the equation 1, we already have the value for, okay, so you can say from equation 1, so that means our S1 is equals to 2 over minus 3. Okay, and that's just minus 2 over 3. Okay. And then from our equation 2, okay, since we already know our S1 to be minus 2 over 3. Okay, so if you should put the value of S1 here, okay, so what we are going to be having is, remember there's a negative there, so we are just going to be having 2 over 3 plus 4 over 3s2 equals to 1. Okay, so with that, we are going to be having 4 over 3s2 equals to 1 minus 2 over 3. Okay, and this is going to give us 1 over 3. All right, so with that, we can say our s2 is equals to 1 over 3. If you divide both sides right here by 4 over 3, okay, so that 1 over 3 times 3 over 4. Okay, so there's indices that is going on here. So this will give us 1 over 4. So that means our s2 is 1 over 4. So take note of that. So from our equation 3, which is going to guide us, this equation 3 right here, to get our s3. Okay, so you can see we have 3s1, 12s2, and then 60s3. We already know what our s1 is, we already know what our s2 is, so we want to get our s3. Okay, so let's just substitute the value of x1 and x2 so we can get s3. So we are going to be having 3 into bracket s1 is minus 2 over 3, then plus 14s2, and our s2 is 1 over 4, then plus 60s3, remember, equals to minus 1. So if you should do this correctly, this can cancel this. Okay, we are going to be having minus 2 plus 14 over 4, that's this right here, then plus 60s3 equals to minus 1. So with this now, we are going to be having 60x3 equals to minus 1 plus 2. So this 2 is coming to the other side of the equals to sign. Then minus 14 over 4, which is this right here. Okay, so I need to indicate that so you don't get confused. So now we are going to be having 60x3 equals, so if you should simplify this now, we are going to be getting it to be minus 5 over 2. Okay, so you can use your calculator to do that, or you can do that on the side. All right, so now let's divide both sides by 60. If you divide both sides by 60, you are going to be getting your s3 to be 5 over 2 divided by 60, right? So you can say 5 over 2, don't forget the negative, times 1 over 60. Okay, so that means our s3 rather will be equals to minus 1 over 24. Okay, because this is just going to be 12, if you divide it by 5. Okay, and then the 12 times 2 is 24. All right, so now let's work with now we've gotten our s1, s2, and s3, right? So next is, remember, before we started looking for this s1 and s2, what we worked with was this right here. Okay, so now I want to work with this. This is what we are going to use with what we got for the s1 and s2 to get the answer, which is our x, y, and z. All right, so what we're going to do is now we are going to work with this next. So I'm going to write this. Okay, so from the look of things, this method is pretty longer than the previous method that we looked at. Okay, so I'm going to be having, which is the second matrix, which is 1, 0, 0, minus 11 over 3, 1, 0, and then minus 7 over 3, minus 14, 1. Okay, so then next to it, we are going to be having x, y, and z. So equals to now is the value we got for our s1, s2, and s3, which is minus 2 over 3 for s1, 1 over 4, and then for s2, then minus 1 over 24. 1 over 24. Okay, so you need to take note of this arrangement. So this is what you are going to use to get your x, y, and z. All right, so you might want to pause the video and attempt it from here. It's just the same process with what we did earlier. Okay, so another thing you need to take note of is, if you are working with, once you get to this stage and you are working with this, okay, remember you are multiplying it with s1, s2, s3 on the column, equals to 2, 1, and minus 1, which is the value from the initial question. All right, this right here. Okay, but once you are done with this, you've gotten your s1, s2, and s3. You come to this, you move to this, you multiply it by, on that column, x, y, z, equals to what you got for your s1, s2, and s3, and not this. Okay, because it can be confusing. Okay, so just take note of that pattern or arrangement. All right, so now let's do the same thing here. So if you use this 1 to multiply x, so we are going to be having x, then minus 11 over 3, minus 11 over 3, let me change my color so that everything can make more sense. So 1 multiplied by x, so it gives us x, minus 11 over 3 multiplied by y, so that will give us minus 11 over 3y, and then minus 7 over 3 multiplied by z, so that will give us minus 7 over 3z, and then equals to minus 2 over 3, which is this right here. Okay, so this is our equation 1, so you need to take note of that. Also, let's come here. So it's 0 multiplied by x, that's 0, so I don't need to write it. Okay, then 1 multiplied by y, which will give us y, so we are going to be having y, then minus 14 multiplied by, okay, sorry, 4, not 14, so this is 4, so that will be y minus 4z, okay, minus 4z equals to 1 over 4, so this is our equation 2, and then for this now, this is 0 multiplied by x is 0, then is 0 multiplied by y is 0, then we have 1 multiplied by z is equals to z, okay, and that will be minus 1 over 4, so let's indicate that. So that means with that now, our z is equals to minus 1 over 24, and this is our equation 3. Now if you look at it closely, now we already have the value for z, okay, so we already have our z to be minus 1 over 24, which is one of the answers. Okay, so we've gotten our z. So for us now, next thing is to get our y. All right, so from the equation 2 above, so I'm making reference to this equation 2 now. So from equation 2, where we have our y is equals to 4z equals to what? 1 over 4. 1 over 4, okay, so that means our, okay, y minus not equals to, so this is a minus sign, so that means our y is equals to 1 over 4 plus 4z, okay, and then that's equals to 1 over 4 plus 4 minus 1 over 24, okay, so this here 1 and this is 6, so that means our y is equals to 1 over 4 minus, not plus now, because we're having plus and minus here, so that's going to be 1 over 4 minus 1 over 6, okay, so with that will give us 1 over 12, okay, so with this now we've gotten our y to be 1 over 12, so we've gotten our y also, so we've gotten z, we've gotten y. So now from equation 1, from our equation 1, which is this particular equation, so we substitute the value of y here, the value of z here, so that we can use it to get our x, okay, so in doing so, we are going to be having x equals to, that's going to be x minus 11 over 3, no, it's 11 over 3y, so that will be into brackets 1 over 12 minus 7 over 3 z, okay, which is minus 1 over 24 equals to minus 2 over 3. All right, so with this we are going to be having x minus 11 over 36, which is 11 times 1 11, 3 times 12 is 36, then plus, the reason why we're having plus here, you can see there's minus here, there's minus here, that's plus, minus times minus plus, then 7 times 1, that's 7 over 24 times 3, you can see 24 times 3, that will give us 72, then equals to minus 2 over 3. All right, so with this now, if we make x the subject formula, that means we take all of these to the other side of the equals to sign, okay, so that will be minus 2 over 3. So if this should come to the other side, it becomes plus 11 over 36. And if this comes to the other side of the equals to sign, it becomes minus 7 over 72. So if you should simplify this, you are going to be getting your x to be equals to minus 11 over 24. And with this now, we've been able to get our x. So from this now, we've used the LU decomposition or the Cholesky method to get the value of our x. So our x is minus 11 over 24. Then our y is 1 over 12. And then the value for our z is, we got that to be minus 1 over 24. So that is the solution to this question using the Cholesky method. All right, I hope you find value in it. Now let's scroll back to the first method we use, Gauss Seidel, okay, to solve this. Where are you? And you see that it's the same answer that we got. You can see it right here. Okay, so you can see it that we got the same answer when we used, you can see this is when we used the Gauss Seidel. So if you miss this part, you can see the same question and we arrive at the same answer. So you can just go back and just check the previous video before this. You'll find that method here. However, this method is pretty much long, but it's worth understanding. Like I said earlier, some question might tell you specifically to use this method. Okay, so that's why you need to really understand it. So if you find value, please give the video a thumbs up. If you are yet to subscribe, please go ahead right now, click on that subscribe button. If there's any parts where you don't understand, I will encourage you to watch the video again. I try as much as possible to simplify everything. So if you are still confused, just go ahead and watch the video again. If you have any question, any doubts, do let me know in the comment section. So thank you very much for watching, guys. My name is Prosper and I'll see you all in the next video. So in the next video also, we are going to be looking at another method, which is the Gauss Seidel iteration. All right, so see you in the next video.